BYUtv analyst Blaine Fowler and Steve Cleveland with us in studio tonight. We'll get to basketball in just a sec, Coach. Let's start with football, and if you listen to Riley Nelson and his comments coming out of practice, he's feeling pretty good.
Well, this is the first time Riley's had a chance to be the guy through the winter, through all of spring and through all of summer. This bodes well for BYU. He's an excellent leader, and now they're going to have a chance to develop some chemistry between he and the receivers in this spring ball and over the summer. I expect BYU to take a big step forward offensively this fall, be more machine-like and precise in what they do right out of the gates to start the season next fall because of this opportunity.
All right, on the other side of the ball, linebackers have been a strength for some time now, seem to be getting a little bit better.
Yeah, they've got a ton of depth. They've moved Hadley to the outside. He's got good speed and can run out there. And when you think about the fact that you've got Ogletree and Kavinga back inside, two guys with great instincts that are great run stoppers and also getting involved in the pass game, and Van Noy, who can run like the wind on the outside. When BYU's good playing this 3-4 defense, they're really good at linebacker, and this is as good as they've been in years at that position. And so if they can find a free safety, if Haig or one of these guys can become the play caller defensively, then I think this is going to be a very sound defensive football team. I expect this team to make a step forward next season.
I like that they're fighting all the time in practice.
That's good.
Yeah, it's
There's
good.
A little edge to them.
Nobody's hurt.
A little edge to them.
Yeah, all right. Well, more on the football team next week. All right, let's start with basketball. The big dance starts tomorrow night for BYU. 14th seed, Steve Cleveland. Is that good or seem kind of high?
Well, you know, you'd like to have a better seed than that, but I think they're really happy about being in the tournament. I think that they realize that, you know, they didn't finish strong, and part of that was because Noah Hartsock was injured.
Right.
But and they were 1-4 against Gonzaga, St. Mary's, really not that competitive in those games, and they only had one victory against a top 50 team. But that being said, I like the matchup. We're going to talk more about IONA in a little bit. But as a 14th seed, as a play-in game, to play someone that plays the same way that you play, I think is a good thing. IONA has great guards. BYU, we know, has that inside attack. And of course, the winner is going to get Marquette, which is also a team, a very up-tempo team. So the pace of play for BYU is good.
Blaine, as you look at this matchup and then you go back to that 14th seed, BYU's lucky to even get in.
Yeah,
we thought all week they were in, but as you look at it, they were almost out.
Yeah, they were one of the last four, and I was looking through all of my notes. They seed them. Just because they're one of the last four doesn't mean they're a 16 seed. They end up being a 14 seed. I think they're about, you and I have talked, Steve, I think they're about where they belong, and they have to play Iona, and I'm 100% with you. This is a good matchup for them. BYU wants to play up-tempo. The one thing that's scary is Iona has really good guards.
Yeah.
And BYU struggled to defend good guards, so it's really going to be on BYU's guard line to play great defense. They don't need to worry about being scorers in this ballgame. They need to play great D. They need to distribute the ball because BYU has a big advantage inside, and I think that Davies can go off in this game along with Hartsock.
If we're at all superstitious, we're playing the GAELS, and they've got an all-conference MVP for a point guard.
Yeah, that didn't work so well.
And so hopefully we'll overcome that and won't get jinxed that way. But this team has a point guard that's really special, like Dellavedova, averaging 9.9 assists. So he's a special young man, and certainly as you look at Iona's record at 25-7, Maryland, St. Joe's always tough. They played Nevada in their bracket buster. That is the one common opponent that BYU and Iona have. BYU beat them by about 11 or 12 back in Chicago. We were back there for that. And then they beat Nevada by 4 at home.
All right, so here's how they stack up offensively.
Yeah, we've documented the fact that they like to get out and run. And look at this, 83.3 points a game is first in the country. It's a very unselfish basketball team that shoots the ball extremely well, 50.4%. They get a lot of buckets in transition. They're a good three-point shooting team, not a great three-point shooting team, and Scott Machado is the guy that Cleve was referring to. Look at that, 9.9 assists per game. He is a guy that will make his teammates look better out on the floor, and BYU's got to redirect him. I would not be surprised to see BYU play a lot of zone in this ball game to take away, the penetration ability of this guard line. And don't forget about Jones, who played at Arizona. BYU's played against Jones, the other guard, when he was at Arizona. He's a kid that's played in the Elite Eight with Arizona that will give them some problems. So BYU, Cleve, I think, might play a lot of zone in this ball game.
Well, no, I think they are. And one of the things Coach Rose told me several weeks ago when we talked about the NCAA tournament, we thought, what's been the difference is once I committed myself to playing zone, number one, you have quick turnarounds. This is a quick turnaround, going from Provo, to Dayton, and then all of a sudden you got to go to Marquette if you win that ball game. The zone works. But, you know, a big key, I think, for BYU is their point guard play. And certainly if they can get inside-out threes, but it's all about Noah Hartsock and Brandon Davies. Can 2-6-7 Iona post players contain these two pretty prolific scorers? And that's going to be a big question. Can BYU stop the guard play, and as you mentioned, the penetration, and can Iona defend inside? And even Abuo has a 4-inch size advantage posting up himself because they go 6 foot, 6'1", 6'3" with their guards. They're quick, they're athletic, but defensively, Iona is going to have some challenges.
All that being said, I can't get a handle on this game. I kind of feel kind of funny. It's almost like if it's a close game, BYU can win it. They could also get run out of the gym back there.
Yeah, it really is all about defense. And for Carlino, his goal ought to be to redirect that point guard and that guard line to hold Machado to 5 assists or less and not let him go off, and make sure that they distribute the ball and get it to the big guys. And that ought to be the goal. Carlino does not have to score in double figures. He can do his work defending and distributing the basketball because BYU's advantage in this game is up front.
Well, there's two things that happen in NCAA tournaments. Rebounding and defense. Most games are grinded out half-court games. I don't see that being the case.
Right.
But at the end of the day, who plays the best defense and who gets timely rebounds wins this. Those are the strengths of BYU, not necessarily the strengths of Iona. Iona is like in the 200s in almost all the defensive categories, but they do like to push it and run, and they're leading the country in scoring. You got 5 New York boys running up and down.
They're all from the Bronx and Queens and everywhere. They're playground players. It's going to be fun to watch, right?
It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a great game, and BYU's got their hands full in terms of stop and dribble penetration. I agree. They've got to play a lot of zone.
Hey, this Tuesday night game feels a little weird.
Yeah,
it feels a little different, but you got to line up. You win, you advance. That's all that matters. All right, Final Four picks now as everyone's putting their brackets together and coming up with brilliance as to how it's going to play out. Steve, let's start with your Final Four and your eventual champion here.
Well, I'm going to come back to Kentucky last. I love Florida State. I love the fact that they're the only team in a long, long time who's beat Duke and North Carolina twice in the same year. That never happens. Kansas did not play well in the Big 12 tournament. Missouri, a hot team, beat them. But I like Bill Self. He's a good friend, and he's won a national championship. Missouri, everyone loves Missouri. Playing 4 guards all the time. Now, Kentucky is probably the most talented team, but maybe one of the most inexperienced teams. It's going to be everybody's pick. I'm not a huge Kentucky fan, but I'm going to go with the numbers.
Okay, all right. Way to step out on the limb.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Blaine, what do you got?
I've got Kentucky winning the whole thing. They're the most athletic team in the country. Syracuse is the deepest team in the country. So I have them meeting in the championship game. I think Kentucky's going to win it. I have Syracuse beating your Florida State to get there, and I have Missouri beating Michigan State to get there. You and I are the same on Kansas and Kentucky being there. So our only difference is I'm taking Syracuse's experience, and I love Missouri's size and physical play.
Okay, all right, here are mine. Clearly you guys looked at my list before you came up with yours, and I've got Kentucky winning it all as well. They're just the best team. Now, we'll see if they get upset. I'll probably cheer for the underdog that beats them, but Kentucky's the best team.
You're the same as Cleve. You just copied Cleve's. I know that you did.
First of all, I got here earlier than the two of you.
We want to congratulate Dave because I don't know if everybody's heard, but Dave just took a new position. He is going to be the primary anchor at KSL Television starting here in June. We'll take over for Bruce Lindsay there, and that is a big, yeah, we give you a standing O, but we're all wired up.
Yeah, we are wired.
That's going to be great. We're going to have you in the state and away with all these frequent flyer miles.
Maybe we could get like a weather spot or something.
Thank you. All right.